All right, welcome back. Aratak here, and this is part 2 of the how to make your own creature tutorial. Last time we talked about making your own creature template, how to set up a completely new creature, and in this episode we are going to talk about how to bring the model into the game, but since we are making a cow, we don't have to model actually. We just want to give it another type of fur, you know? And here comes something very nice. So if you want to add more vanilla creatures, then you can just copy from them, just so like we copied the creature template from the cow, but one step after the other. So what you're going to need is a server pack. So in episode 0 and episode 1 we already talked about server pack and how to make one, but still I'm going to talk over it again in this episode in the context of adding new creature with a vanilla model but a new fur, right? So we're going into our mod folder where our jar is, and I'm just gonna copy that and paste it right away, and then we just call it tutorial adding new creatures minus pack.jar, and then I'm just gonna open it with 7-zip and just delete its contents and close it back down. So now we have a jar file with nothing in it. That's fine. That's fine. And now let's look at how the game shows us a cow. So actually for this we need to go back to your Steam library, go to your Wurm Unlimited client, Wurm Launcher, packs, and in there you should have a graphics.jar. And if we go inside of that with 7-zip file manager, we'll find a file called mappings.txt. And if you just go in here, we can basically scroll through that. And I'm just gonna search for cow in here, and then let's see what we'll find. Okay, this is an icon. We don't need an icon at the moment. Aha, this is a model. See here? So you have model creature quadruped cow equals creatures cow main worm. So this is the model, right? Okay, so we are going to do the same. So we are going back to our mod folder, and we are going to create a new file, and we are going to call it mappings.txt, and I'm just gonna enter this, but again this model is not what our model identifier was, right? So we have to change that part of the string. And our model is model creature tutorial my cow. So I'm gonna copy that model string. Okay. And that is our basically mappings done. So I'm gonna close that, and then I'm gonna open the pack jar and throw in the mappings.txt. Yep, throw that in there, close that down, and that's basically how you make a server pack. Of course, now it still has the standard model, but let's see if it worked. So for this to work, of course, you need a server and a client, both with the server packs mod. So the client just needs to be patched actually, but your server has to come with the server packs mod and the HTTP server mod here and here. And I set HTTP server up just very standardly, running everything local, open the port, and then put the 127.0.0.1 in here. And then you also have to, now let me check. You have in your properties file, you have to say, hey, I've got a server pack, and that's that line. I'm gonna snag that and have it open here. So I can add that line here. So server packs, you can have multiple packs, equals the name of our pack. So that was tutorial adding new creatures pack.jar. Just making sure that that's correctly set up. Yep, space minus space and then capital pack jar. And I'm gonna save this. And we are just going to step through step by step and see if that worked. So if our server actually notices that there's a new server pack. So I'm gonna launch the server here, but not launch it fully, because up here you can already see that it's serving up the packs. And yeah, there you go. DF, weird number, is advertised as tutorial adding new creatures pack jar. So there is a pack. Then I'm gonna start the server. And also my client. And then we will have a look. Okay, so here's our normal renderable my cow, but that is okay because creatures that have already existed will keep the model they spawned with, so we have to spawn a new one in. So summon my cow. Let's see. Ah, well, that's not too good. Let's see. Did we download the pack? DF was the name. Yep, we've got that server pack. And this has model creature tutorial mycow.female. Okay, so maybe we need to update that in the server pack. So it's a little bit finicky. And also we don't have that model and that texture in our server pack, but I was pretty sure that that you can also access vanilla models. So let's see. So going back into the pack. It should be all right though. Because .female will not find a creature, and then it will fall back to the next one. I'm gonna go into the graphics jar that we had open, and since we know from looking at that mappings text, I don't think I have it open still, but it was, I think, models. No. Creatures. Cow. and then there everything is in there. So I'm just gonna basically copy that out, and that's not a problem. So I can copy that, boop, and go into my pack jar, which I still have open. Yep. Make a new folder in there, and I call that creatures. And in there, I'm gonna add the cow folder. Thank you 7-zip. Or thank you Windows. Okay, so I've just added the cow folder in there. So let's try that again. Should be a different mod pack now since it changed. Yep, A5 is now the code. So should re-download everything. Yeah, all right. And as you can see, that works now because the other mic house changed, right? So because they had a fallback model, they didn't have a wrong model identifier string. It was model creature tutorial mic cow female. It just hadn't had the correct model. So okay, if we want a standard model, we have to copy that from the graphics pack over into our server pack as well. And you can also see basically from which server pack it comes. So that's fine. So, but that's just the basic code of fur for that cow. And that's something else I wanted to show you. So we're going to close everything down here. Go back into our graphics jar, that from the player files. And then I'm gonna search for cow again. See here how it says cow main Wurm, right? And then you have, that's model cage. Ooh, maybe cows do they only come with one color? Apparently, okay, well then let's look for horse, my bad. So okay, so this is what I wanted to show you. So here we have a standard horse. Standard horse is gray. So that's creatures, horse main Wurm, so main model. And then they say horse matte dot texture equals horse gray 512 DDS. And horse matte dot specular and so on. So you could basically do the same and just say cow matte or whatever, but we had to find out how that is called. So that's something we still need to find out. But that's a little bit of detective work. I mean, if that doesn't work, we can always just make our own model from the old cow model and then apply the texture. But yeah, let's try this. So I have a texture ready here. Sponsored by Cydonia. Well, it's actually a bull texture, but it doesn't matter. Is a bull different? Bull. Oh hey, but at least we know know that bull has bull mud, so that's good. Okay. You can also see while we are browsing this, since we modeled it after a cow, I forgot that I had the bull texture, but we can make it work. That you have a model for a butchered corpse. You saw earlier the corpses were these corpse bags. So if you want that to be the model of the dead cow or bull, you also have to copy that into your pack file. Okay, but from what I can see here, the main material for every creature is called like the creature. So if it's a foal, that's foal mat. So let's see. I'm gonna grab the bull, and we are doing another turn of mapping. Not a problem. This is what this video is about. So this is a little bit more active here, just checking what works and what not. So I'm gonna copy bull out of here and go back in my pack and put the bull in. Yep, bull's in there. And then we say mappings, and then we just take the mapping from the bull here. So basically this one, standard bull, right? Need to close that down. If you edit something directly from 7-zip, it's a little bit finicky. Okay, so now it should be a bull. Yep. So never forget to actually update that file. And I'm just gonna start. And since we changed the right part of our model designator, so the model still stays the same, but it now has a new target model. Basically, our my cows should look like bulls. Yep, that's exactly what happened. Cool. That other bull fucked off that we summoned, it was all a little bit too much, or he's still there, he's still there. Okay, so our my cows now have a bull, and then I'm gonna quit. Okay, and I'm gonna go back into my server pack in the creatures bull, and you see here bull DDS. So that's the basically the textures of the bull. So again, let me download that texture. That I got here, and that's still called bull 2 DDS. That's one way. We could just drop that in there, but I'll quickly rename that to bull alternate, because you could put a different bull 2 DDS file in here and just replace that by all means. But again, this is now bull alternate DDS. And now we can go back to mappings. And this is just doing bull met specular. All right, but we are going back to the original mappings file that closed itself. Graphics jar, mappings text. And then instead, we're gonna copy that from the horses. Aha, you say bull met and then look for the other texture. And I think this is also, if I go to creatures, horse, yep, so they are in the same folder. Yep. Okay, so this is ours. And again, there is an end in between. Okay, so we need to remember that. And after the Wurm is a question mark, right? So after the question mark, I'm gonna put here my horse mat, but this, as we already see, needs to be bull mat. And we'll have the texture bull, let's see, bull 2 underscore alternate DDS. So I save that. No, it's a temporal file. Okay, we couldn't overwrite that. Again, finicky as hell, editing from inside the 7-zip file. You don't have to do that. You can always just have an external file and then do that. So that's again bull 2 underscore alternate DDS, and we are talking about bull mat. Okay. I saved it, closed it, hit update, and then let's see how the creatures look in game. Yo. All right. So something happened. They have the missing texture label. But yeah, you see, we have bullmat.texture is bull to alternate DDS. So that texture is there. But I wonder if it looks for a texture in the right spot. So again, I'm closing that down. And then I'm just for shits and giggles, I'm gonna copy the texture into the main folder as well, because you can see it has like a lilac color. So that should work. Just double checking that I did write that correctly. Oh. Was it bull alternate? Aw, damn. Okay. So that's my fault. Hmm. That's safe though. Okay. Because the 7-zip just crashed. So bull alternate. Sorry, scatterbrain. But you see, bug fixing always around the corner. Start the server. Oh yeah. Okay, cool. So in Germany, if a cow is lilac, we call that Milka cow from the chocolate. I don't know if that was the purpose, but that model works. So yeah, let me summon one over here, just so we can look at it. Sure, now you move. All right. So that's our new bull. So Cydonia, if you're seeing this, thanks for providing me with the texture. That looks awesome. And I mean, you can do the same with a cow. You don't have to put that on a bull, right? So without making a new model, we actually applied a texture, but we didn't replace one of the vanilla ones, so they are all still there. So talking horses. We have a completely new creature, which also has its own texture. So coming back to the mod we've made in the last episode, we said that the child of our Michael was to be a calf. But again, if you want then the child of this milker cow to be a milker cow, you have to say the child is a very young my cow, because we can try and summon a young one. It should also be smaller. My cow, age 2 is still 100, so let's say 2. Yep. So that's a little smaller though. It's not as small as a calf, right? But yeah. You could make a new creature, a calf, that when it dies from old age, it doesn't die from old age and just levels up to be a big young cow. The options are limitless. But this is the main thing I wanted to show you in this little addendum, that you don't have to make a new model. You can copy over the original Wurm model that's already done and works, and then just say, hey, material texture is my alternate texture, which I just want to overlay. So that way you don't have to fuck around with the original models or create your own model. But yeah, can do it all in the mappings file, and that's really neat. Okay. Now I just want to know which one was it. I think it wasn't the texture in the main file. That wouldn't make sense to me, but Wurm is weird sometimes. That's why I'm trying that. So either it has missing texture now or it works. Let's see. Yep. All right. So the texture needs to be there where the model is, which makes sense in a way, right? Okay. We have Milka bulls now. That's cool. Well, this already concludes the part 2 of how to make your own creature, also with its own texture. And I thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to put down a comment or hit me up in Discord or whatever in the forums. Yeah. And get into modding, damn it. All right. Have a nice day. Thank you for watching, and I talk to you soon. Bye bye.